When I'm involved in brawls, I start glowing. Your broads are like where you're going. What you're holding ain't the cards showing. What's the brouhaha? What's the brouhaha? I gotta go, stop your moaning. Gotta push up more weight than Hogan. And stop till I'm on late with Conan. What's the brouhaha?
And we're live. In this post, in this episode, I want to jump into this video I saw posted by Owen Cook. If you're unfamiliar with Owen and RSD and Real Social Dynamics, he's a PUA guru, or he's a dating guru. He is a student of mystery. And if you don't know who mystery is, back in the day, there was a community called PUAs, which helped men to pick up women. So, and it also covered social dynamics between men and women. And it goes into the same background that the red pill does in terms of evolutionary biology and using the past to help to understand the present and the future. So, and he does these free tours and they're great videos, typically. So I want to jump in regarding affirmative yeses and just the framing of what he gets into, because I'm not going to lie, it got me a little triggered. But let's jump into this post by Owen Cook regarding healthier attitudes towards women. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe the issue is me. Maybe I'm a backwards twisted misogynist and I should be executed via firing squad. So let's jump into it and see what all the brouhaha is all about.
How many guys in here would say, and judgment-free, like literally a judgment-free environment, have like deep respect for women? If you do, put your hand up. I'm just curious. Yeah? Got it. Anyone here not have respect for women? I'm just curious. No judgment environment. No judgment. Literally no judgment. No? Okay. Got it. Do any of you guys here feel that you naturally maybe pedestalize women, like you like them almost too much? I do. Okay, so I really do. Yeah, I kind of do. Okay, so then from there, how important to you guys is the topic of consent? Like, does everybody here agree that getting consent during sex is like vitally important? Put your hand up if you agree with that. Who here feels that that's like more like a left-leaning issue and is like overplayed by the left? You feel that way? Okay, and judgment-free environment, what led you to maybe feel that way? And by the way, you have a shirt that says Good Neighbor Project, so I know you're a good person.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
An mentor that passed away last year.
Yeah.
A couple years ago, but like, it's more to the sense that some women don't feel like you're being it's to ask for consent to kiss you, it's like...
Got it. So you have concern it might make you look less manly. What could women do to encourage men to not feel less manly with that kind of thing?
Well, I mean, it also depends on the man to pick up those social cues, right?
Yeah.
And, if she's looking into your eyes, it's like the move's right.
Yeah.
She's not going to make that move.
Yeah. Got it. Yeah. Yep.
Are you asking, like, if you're, like, engaging with a woman and sometimes there's just, like, this moment of, like, oh, we know we're about to get her to ask this woman, hey, do I have permission to get it on with you? It's like, we're doing this.
Yeah, but you know what's interesting about this? So I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
Do you guys know, who here knows what the idea of affirmative yes is? Affirmative yes basically means this. If you don't have a clear yes at each phase, stop. What would be a reason to have affirmative yes, would you say?
So like later,
Placing your hand on it.
Yes, she's giving you, like, you can...
Affirmative yes, what it does is it removes any ambiguity about it, okay? So what was the old standard?
Married.
Fair enough. What was the old standard aside from marriage regarding consent?
you take a girl out, no?
The old standard was no means no, okay? So what happens if you get a no?
Stop immediately.
Cool. What's that?
Stop immediately.
Stop immediately. What is the new standard?
You try to, like, they try to push themselves on, like, and try to, like, get...
What is the standard of consent now?
Man, you have to verbally ask.
Yes means yes.
Do you ask one time?
No.
It's not once or twice. What is it?
You have to ask continually.
Yeah. Why is that?
To make sure that it's always there.
What happens if there's a miscommunication and people perceive it differently to your life?
Yeah, you're in
How much?
Your reputation's out the window.
How much?
Your whole life is
Depends. Depends on what she wants to do with that.
I'll just say this. If it was whatever possible upside you would ever get from not checking, it's not even close to the downside, guys. Your life is gonna be ruined, okay? It's also not something you want to do from an ethical perspective either. So that's also a vitally, vitally important thing, okay? So anytime that you're approaching a girl, you want to be aware of it, what she's feeling and thinking from the level of, yes, her body language, but also ask. Got it, guys? Okay, cool. And then from there, what I'd say is, do you guys feel that your major sticking point is that you dislike women, or that you like them too much and that you find yourself being a bit needy?
Okay, so I looked it up, and I guess it's coming from college campuses, and it's so ridiculous. It's so rooted in gynocentricity and in this idea that, again, as a man, you have to reduce yourself to such a degree to accommodate women, which implicitly implies that women can't deal with men. They can't deal with men. And I'm not saying they should be able to, but I'm just telling you that's the reality, is women can't deal with men. And the framing, the literal accusation to all men. I mean, he's emphasizing like, oh, it's really bad for you. Yeah, we know that. What guy doesn't know the consequences of breaking the law? Of SA and force and grape and etc. etc. There's no guy whose father or whose whoever, brother, uncle, hasn't taught him this already, etc. And listen, just for some background, I know that RSD, Real Social Dynamics, and Owen, etc., and a couple of their coaches went through some media fiasco ordeal, even a few times, I believe. You can Google that and look that up, and if you want to get into the details, but they went through some media fiasco back in the day having to do with something they said in one of their videos, and also there was some in-field footage debacle where the powers that be and the platforms came after them for terms of service breaks or etc., censorship, essentially. So I understand that, and I understand that he's covering himself. I understand that also. So there's no shade towards him or towards RSD. And again, I get a lot of value from these videos for the most part. So cool. But it was just the landscape that men live in right now is this shaming, accusatory framing of you're guilty before proven innocent. And the bottom line is, regardless of how much consent you get, which is, again, if you listen to women, listen, at this point in time, if the majority of men don't understand, if the assumption is, if we had never heard this, affirmative yes means yes, which is so strange because she could still say no. So the ultimate bottom line is she reserves the right, as she should, and it's a right that's enforced by men, not by women, not by feminism, by men, is a right that's enforced by men with violence, justified violence. So regardless if there are a million yeses up front loaded, or at each phase, she can still say no. She can still say no. So the absolute bottom line is that the onus is on you as a man, and as it should be, because that's the natural order. But by definition, what you're saying is men have all the power, and men are bigger and stronger, and men also have the capacity to read her and to also check in on her, basically. So all the power lies with men. Yet these same sources, groups, whoever, the feminists, the liberal colleges, or any college, or wherever it's applied, state law, federal law, wherever, implicit is men hold all the power, all the material power, the physical power, the tangible power, the material power. Yet at the same time, the message or the propaganda and the group think out here is that men and women are equal. The doesn't need a man. She doesn't need a man to protect her or to guide her or any of this stuff. It's just the whole thing is cockamamie. The whole thing is completely batty. It's completely dingbatty. Even by this assertion of affirmative yes or affirmative consent, again, it's sure. I mean, I have no, the spirit of it, of course, right? But this idea that, and it's still your word against hers, like it all still boils down to two people have to trust each other enough to engage with each other. That's just the bottom line. And it's funny because, again, everything has a balance. Everything has a counterbalance. Everything. There are guys sitting in jail, a small percentage of guys sitting in jail because they were falsely accused of something they did not do. So this idea, because the framing here is, and I know it's just kind of like it's a free tour. It's just a off the cuff meeting. I get it. If you talk long enough, you're going to say some stuff. I'm going to say some stuff that is bonkers from time to time. Some people might claim that what I'm saying now is bonkers and not a big deal or what have you. But I just want to make clear that not all of this meandering is just to assuage people, especially women on campuses, because of whatever reason, because of maybe some cases that occurred where there was a lot of ambiguity or et cetera, et cetera. But the real standard is evidence, and it boils down to the two individuals involved. That's what it boils down to, is people, listen, if you want to engage with each other, then you have to figure it out. Like, you have to navigate each other. This is babying, overkill, meandering language. Because it doesn't matter. I mean, what's the number, by the way? Like, how many yeses do you need? Like, what is this? It makes no sense. It's like, again, implicitly, the no standard still needs to be there. It still needs to be there because rightfully so, she still reserves the right to say no at any stage, even if she just gave consent or she just gave a yes. So it's just so meandering. It's so utterly meandering. This is the cycle of rampant meanderings of BS that you need to sit through, because the glaring reality is women shouldn't be engaging with men without families. That's the blatant reality. But I get it that they're out there now and we have to deal with each other, and no one has a legitimate wife. And if you choose to fornicate, which is debatable if we even should, I mean, that's a separate debate. But if you choose to fornicate, I choose to fornicate. I fornicate, for full transparency. So I get it. I'm not shaming anyone for fornicating. But this is the landscape you have to traverse if you choose to fornicate. You have to trust yourself. You can't operate out here and you can't operate out here with this convoluted, garbage, meandering, gerbil-brained nonsense. This is, people really think that shaming you think you're gonna shame a guy that's deciding to break the law? The guy who's deciding to cross that line, he's not fazed by any of this nonsense. Like, the only thing that can stop that guy is a man. Whether it's a good man, a slightly less bad man, an anti-hero, only a man can stop a man for the most part. I think if she can, I think she should fight back, but it boils down to the man. The man has to be a conscious enough man to be able to read her and also understand what's happening, to understand that she's not interested, that he should stop, and she can still say no and yes, etc., etc. And sure, he can ask a million times, but how do you prove that, by the way? Listen, it's going to boil down to getting video consent at every level. You're going to have to record literally every interaction. And maybe in a few short years, maybe there'll be robots. Maybe there'll be robots that are following us around, whether they have appendages or wheels, or maybe they'll be floating. Maybe with the help of AI, we can finally get some anti-gravity and have orbs following each individual and live streaming, or maybe recording privately every interaction you have, because at this point it's just, you can't trust anybody. You can't trust a man because he's every guy is some murderous psychopath that wants to violate women every chance he gets. And likewise, every chick is a falsely accusing Jezebel looking to ruin innocent men's lives. This is where we are. This is where we've always been. This is nothing new. It's just patronizing that you have to sit through this meandering nonsense. Bro, when you're out there, all you have is yourself. You have to trust yourself. And listen, I used to drink, I get it. I used to have sloppy game, drunk game, I get it. But this is more reason why you shouldn't drink, because that's just another layer of challenge. That's just another obstacle, and it kind of works against you if you're ever falsely accused of anything, or if you just find yourself in some situation. So yeah, I just had to jump on. And listen, if I'm missing something, let me know. I checked the comments earlier to see, and no one addressed it in any real way. Maybe I'm just tripping and this is not that big of a deal, and maybe I'm just showing my age, and maybe I'm just tripping, but it was so patronizing. It was so completely patronizing. Because again, the real criminals, the real dudes who are going to do something like that are not paying attention. It's the same with guns. Punishing everyone else that hasn't committed a crime and having this accusatory tone and not trusting anybody, it's just so demoralizing. And listen, Owen has 2 kids, 2 sons. I mean, I have a daughter out there. I never got a DNA test, which I advocate for any man that has children to get, any man that's just a part of a family to get a 360 DNA test. But I'm pretty sure it's my kid. But still, if I ever do get back in touch with my kid, I would get a DNA test. But also, being a dad of a daughter, if I had a say in how her life was directed, I would not have her in public school. I would not have her engaging with random guys. I would have her chaperoned with family as best as I could, whether it's my family or the mother's family or both. As best you can, you should have your daughter's chaperone. That would circumvent all of this. I mean, to a degree, she still would get married, and it's the same rules of consent in a marriage also. But again, this idea that after you are getting compliance from her, from keynote escalation, from touch, from etc., where she has every opportunity to say no, or every opportunity to show, to communicate, she's a grown female, every opportunity to communicate that she's not interested and, she has a headache, whatever it is. Or even if there's no reason. Everyone has choices to make. So does the husband, by the way. He has choices. If it happens too many times, he can dissolve the marriage. Everybody has their legal options. Everyone has their freedom and their legal options to do what they want to do under just circumstances. This language really is to somehow assuage people's conscience after some horrific cases, after something unjust occurred. It's just to make people feel better. Nothing is ever going to be able to stop. The only thing that could stop a bad man is another man, period. Or the only thing that could stop someone from doing something heinous or breaking the law, etc., is a man, fundamentally. And I'm not saying that she shouldn't fight back if everything else has failed her. I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you that ultimately that's what it's going to take. So this idea that men can't control themselves, and that men control themselves every day. The world isn't perfect. And so there's some guys who are gonna break the law and do heinous things. That's just the reality. So, but it's just such a shame that they have to guilt trip everyone, and guys just sit there and put up with it. I mean, it's really heinous. You're gonna have to get to the point where you just, I don't know, man. You just make her aware that it's all being recorded, and you just protect yourself, because this is madness. This is utter madness. Like, people have to trust each other. That's just if you want to engage with each other, and most people do, by the way. If you're encountering a female who you think is gonna falsely accuse you or whatever, there are red flags way before that happens. You better believe it. So that's why you really have to keep your eyes open, and just, it really comes down to your judgment and your savvy. Yeah, it comes down to that. That's why compliance is really critical, to get compliance at every stage and buy-in. Because I mean, think about it. If you have to stop to ask if something is okay, then it's most likely not. If I have to stop to ask, hey, is this okay? Is it okay if I do X, Y, Z or this? Then it's over. It's a wrap. Just send her home. It's just at that point, just politely ask her to go, because I don't want to deal with that. You should already be getting consent at every level. Kino escalation, hand holding, high fives, half hugs, full hugs, making out, etc. All of it before you get to third base and fourth base. There should be clear signs of consent all the way through. And so it really comes down to your own judgment and understanding, bro, don't open yourself up to liability. It's just that simple. Because, and again, if a woman is giving you some red flags or hesitations, it's a wrap. Just move on to the next chick, or just go home and take a cold shower. Because it's really nutty if this is the temperament, if this is the tenor, if this is the zeitgeist and the group think that's going on out there, then you truly have to protect yourself at all times. And that's always been the case anyway. But if I'm not seeing things the right way here, drop it in the comments and let me know. Maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something I'm overlooking that I just can't see right now. So if I'm missing anything, help a brother out and drop it in the comments and let me know. Let's see if there's anything else to cover. I think there was something else I wanted to jump into. Let's see if he gets into anything else. And just to be clear, the rest of this video, and I'll drop the link to this in the description. So the rest of this video is pretty solid. It's sound. It just goes into how, as a guy, you could come off creepy and not socialized. It's solid information, and it's shit, you know. It was just that part that kind of just rubbed me the wrong way, and I just had to jump on real quick to address. But let's see what the rest of this looks like.
The latter.
Yeah? Not a fan?
I mean, yeah, if those are my two options.
Yeah. What do you find annoying about women?
I mean, okay, look, women are cute. There's some ways, but they have a very hard time with linear conversation. They have a very hard time with regulating their emotions, and they are known to be fairly deceptive.
You don't think men are deceptive?
Oh, no. I do think that some men are deceptive, but I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, so I'm very straightforward.
But you know, have you ever thought of maybe a dude? You sure?
No,
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like one of those type of women.
Yeah. But there's things that frustrate you.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's like, my options are, I dislike women or I put them on the pedestal.
Yeah. Do you ever put women on a pedestal as well?
Absolutely not.
No? I do.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know why?
Because you want them.
Yeah. But not just that. Look, if I were to ask you guys in here, like, the stereotype of men is, yeah, I mean, it's hard not to pedestalize women because being in their presence is like a drug-inducing high, right? Yeah, so it's literally a drug-inducing high, so it's hard not to put that on a pedestal. Like, your day with a beautiful woman is going to be 1,000 times better than, no, I know you know that. Yeah, so it's like, it's going to be 1,000 times better than a day with just by yourself. And then...
All right, so that was the other thing that kind of rubbed me the wrong way was, bro, the guy was just, first of all, at the beginning of the video, he said no judgment, and then the guy's trying to express that basically he doesn't appreciate bad behavior from women. And so, he makes a quip about if he wants to sleep with men. It's like, bro, really? That's just so, that was really tacky. No, it's like, I get it. He doesn't appreciate the kind of waywardness that he's witnessed or experiencing with women. I get it. That's a legitimate grievance. Just like a guy who's not socialized or not reading the room or not reading the interaction that is hovering or creepy or whatever it is. That's also valid. And there are guys who are also like that, who are also out of it and deceptive and etc. etc. So I get it. I didn't really get that triggered response, why he would flip out like that. After saying no judgment, he then proceeded to do just that. But again, listen, you get a lot of good insights and information from the free tours and from Owen Cook's posts, you'll get a lot of good information as it pertains to interacting with women and pickup and PUA and navigating the pickup process. And this post was 90% solid. Just those 2 points kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. But let's jump back in and see where else he takes it. Again, I've seen these videos before, and again, he himself says he likes to pedestalize women, and okay, I get it to a degree, but it's also why everyone, it doesn't matter who you are. That's why people are struggling with any type of relationship or any type of anything real beyond just hooking up or beyond short-term situationships and things of that nature. Even he admittedly has never been married. So, and there's a reason for that. Mystery, him, everyone, at no one, bro, there's very few. Rollo Tomasi is the only one that's married. And so very few guys are married. That alone says a lot. And then of course they'll demonize marriage and blame laws. And listen, there's a lot of validity to that, but it's very telling that no one has a long-term relationship. Even if you're not married, who has a long-term relationship? People are just cycling through people. That's what's happening out here. So it's just really, and then to dismiss what the guy's trying to express, which is there's a lot of bad behavior out there. There's a lot of things that you need to anticipate and look out for. So, and it seems like you can't really speak freely about anything because you're just going to be ad hominem. You're going to be attacked. So I just found that to be misguided. And also, I think what's happening is these guys are in bubbles, and I get that. It happens, right? You're in bubbles. You have friends at various levels, and you expect certain things from friends. I get it. You're in a bubble, and you're afraid to offend people in your bubble, etc. I get that too. And listen, I've heard Sartain, damn, I can't remember his first name, but there's a show called Access Vegas with Rollo Tomasi and Sartain, right? And like, I heard one segment where he's going into this whole spiel about women and stimulus. And so basically saying that even if she has a past, if she's no longer engaging or seeking stimulus or high degrees of stimulus, and she's content with low degrees of stimulus, then she may be okay to marry and to commit to. And I just find that to be completely ludicrous, completely insane, completely and utterly insane. The broad reality is, and listen, I'm going to get a lot of hate for this, but the broad reality is, if she's unchaperoned and without family, no wise man should be committing to her. And by definition, that's what 90% of guys are doing. Even these PUA guys, social dynamic guys, whatever you want to call them, even they, by definition, they might not agree with what's being said right now, but even they demonstratively are following suit. They are not committing to these women. That's just the bottom line. And I'm pretty sure they all just have kids outside of marriage. So do I. I'm guilty of that too. I'm just telling you, this is where everyone is. This is just physically, materially what's happening. This is what's happening. And I'm not even blaming women. What's being said is that there is a dynamic out here. There is a underlying dynamic of unmarriageability or not being marriageable. That's just what it is. It's the current landscape. Now, people will downplay that, and there'll be other videos I've seen him really trash marriage overall, and that's also pretty misguided. Because it's not the tool, it's not the marriage, it's not the religion, it's not the gun or the money or capitalism no, it's people. It's a people problem. It's a people problem, and it's a fathers who don't understand their range of options problem. It's a cultural problem. It's an expectation problem. Fathers don't know what to do. They don't understand that they can disown their daughters, that they should get a DNA test, a 360 DNA test, that they can disown their sons. They don't understand that. Once things are irreversible, she's not a virgin anymore. You can't put the genie back in the bottle, and you betray any future potential family by lingering on your current family that has betrayed you. That's all but betrayed your last name. That's what it is. And guys are afraid to divorce their wives if their wives haven't already divorced them. They're afraid to disown their kids. They're afraid to disavow any family members that fundamentally disrespect them. And guys are just afraid to move how they should be moving. That's what's happening out here. And it's producing terrible people in the supposed dating pool. I don't even consider it a dating pool because, again, there's no such thing as dating. There's no such thing as relationships. You shouldn't be paying. You shouldn't be dating. You should just be partying, cold approaching, partying, having female friends. Don't bring up these subjects with that as much as you can. Or with some you actually can, but just navigate these spaces out here and just understand that you shouldn't be dating. You shouldn't be paying. Don't place yourself in the following role. Place yourself in the being followed role. And so if you do that, you'll be properly protected. That's what you want to do. So it's just, I guess I'm just disappointed that he didn't give the guy the space to just express himself without being ridiculed. Even though it was a passing moment, I get it, but let's jump back in and see where else he takes it.
What I'd say is, like, do you ever find yourself like you're just kind of walking down the street in your own thoughts and you're like, I wish I had a girlfriend to just like do this with, like, you know, you're just going to grocery shopping or you're going to like 7-Eleven or, you know, you're on the subway or you're driving the car and it's just like, this is like lonely, you know what I'm saying, right? And like, I wish I had somebody to share this with. Do you guys feel that? Or is most of what you feel is just like, there's just this like wet, warm hole that you want on your penis and then you just want to release? Now, of course, it's both, right? That everybody has both. But like, is what you guys are here for predominantly that you need like a warm, wet hole on your penis? Or do you actually like all aspects of interacting with women? Of course, there could be arguments or downsides, but do you guys actually like the whole package of it?
The whole package.
Yeah, definitely the whole
Yeah, the whole package.
Upside and downsides.
Well, there's upsides, downsides, everything for sure, yeah. And yet you're here learning. So there's probably more upside for you than downside, I'm guessing.
I mean, I feel like what he said, like all of the downsides just become a part of the package, and I just find it cute. 'Cause
Yeah.
It's, like, it's a little broken thing, and it just.
Got it. Yeah. And then do you guys recognize women's humanity easily, or do you view them more like the other, or like how do you guys?
Recognize easily.
Yeah.
I
think it's equal and
I struggle with
opposite.
the feminine energy, kind of like, I'm trying to learn how to, they're very physical and,
Logical.
thinking about the future and past with like that.
Yeah.
Hard to relate.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
So I always say this thing. It's like you have the man brain and the woman brain. Like these are the two most different things in existence, right?
There's definitely differences.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like so when we're talking about this, it's like we have to really take the time to like appreciate and like, you know, it's like the whole exercise that we were doing earlier about like, you know, control versus not control.
Release, yep.
Women are really good at that.
The release part.
The intuition and like you can really listen to them sometimes and
Yeah.
you can get through all the like things that it's like, oh yeah, I didn't think, because it's like my man brain is like in operation. Yeah, babe, but what about?
Yeah.
And it's like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
good idea.
What do you guys feel is the main value that a woman brings into your life? Family, yeah, life. Playfulness, yeah.
Getting you out of your
Good energy.
Yeah.
Vibes.
Yeah.
Protect you spiritually.
Yeah. Yeah.
Self-mastery.
Yeah. Okay.
I'd say like one of the three attraction things, they're just real with themselves, so it's like fun to see.
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I think that as men, like, I go to Russian banya sometimes, which are like men's spa areas, and it's so different from like a woman's spa, right? Like, if you guys ever been like.
All right, that's the gist of what I wanted to cover in this video. So the link will be in the description. You can check it out. And tell me what you think. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment. Tell me if I'm flipping out or if I'm reading too much into this. But no, yeah, man, I think that's the bottom line. You know, you need to trust yourself. don't let people frame you as a lowlife or as a criminal or any of that. Trust yourself. How to, trust yourself. Okay. Don't let people frame you as something that you didn't do or that you don't have any intention of doing. Okay. And with that, let me get out of here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the notification bell, leave a comment, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay. Peace.